Hello, Lynn. Good morning, Lynn and Dave. Hello. How are you in this fine Saturday? Hopefully, keeping cool. Um, hope you're ready to move your body in whatever way is appropriate for you. Good morning, Nancy. Nice to have you as well. So I hope we're ready to do whatever it is that happens today. And that's all we should do. All right. So, anything to ask, to report, to question? Trying to clean up my computer while we wait. Pat, good morning. So nice to have you out there. So, anything in particular, anyone? I had some thoughts for today, something I haven't done in quite a while, and I thought it would be a nice thing to do. Some nice posture strengthening movement today. And yeah. So let me know if you have anything to report before I go back there, because once I'm back there, I cannot see anything. I could see that people say things or hear, but I cannot respond from over there. All right. Well, I'm going to begin because I do have a plan. I have a plan. So we know that today's the last day of this session. I'm off all next week. So all next week I'll be off teaching live classes. There's always plenty of recorded classes. I don't know how many at this point, but if I had to guess, I would say that there are, believe it or not, if they are like all on there on my channel, I mean, it's over 200. So there's no reason to not practice. There's the live opportunity when I'm here doing this live, and then there's the recorded opportunity. So try to do what you can, and that's all you should do. For today's practice, the focus is going to be on structure and stability and the stabilizing aspects of your body. The skeleton is held together by ligaments, and then there's small muscles that are on that hold the muscles together that help to stabilize them. And there's a lot of communication there. There's a lot of communication of balance with those muscles. And so these are little muscles. It's not crazy movement. And often when we do pushing or pulling into things, pushing together towards something or pushing away, that really activates the joints. And we want our joints to be healthy because that's going to help to minimize the stress of gravity, the stress of movement, and help to keep us fluid, mobile, loosey, and juicy, I like to say, so that we can really move well. All right. Feels kind of dark in here to me. Okay, so for today's practice, you'll need a block because we're going to be pushing with that block. You're also going to need a strap. And so if you have something that loops, that would be perfect because I would like you to be able to loop your strap so we can push into the strap. And that's something we're going to do today in the practice quite a bit, pushing into the strap to activate the stabilizing muscles to really strengthen the joints. And so if you have that, that would be great. And if not, get a belt or get a robe strap or something, and we'll tie it so that you will have a loop or something that you could push against like this. Of course, there's also the option. So that's really like pushing muscles of the shoulders. There's also, though, the option to pull here, and that will still activate some of the muscles that we tried to get to when we do the hand position. But really I prefer you to be able to do it like this with a loop, because there's a little bit of a deeper feeling than there is when you're actively using muscles to pull. So they say we have anywhere from 600 to 800 muscles, and we want to make sure that we're using as many as possible and using all of them at some point. So not just thinking about the big muscles, but also doing those joint stabilizing muscles, because that's a really big part of healthy aging and of a future pain prevention from arthritis and the breakdown that can happen in the body and in the joints. And so today you're going to need a strap, a block, and you'll also need a blanket. I'd like to begin the practice today with an elevation of the pelvis. It could be on the block for those of you that feel comfortable elevating your block this high. That these blocks, the thicker blocks, are about 4 inches. They also have 3-inch blocks. You may have that. And if it's too much for you to elevate your pelvis like that, you could fold a blanket or something and put it underneath your pelvis. The thing about this is it's called an inversion. You're going to have your pelvis higher than your head and your heart. There are sensors on the aortic arch and in the carotid arteries. There are parasympathetic nervous system response simulators or receptors. So when you elevate your pelvis and the volume of fluids, and especially blood, comes down towards this aortic arch and the carotid arteries, that perceived volume increase will actually slow down the heart. So this is a way to, it's a posture for your heart. It's actually, there's studies on it and how an inversion can actually lower heart rate. And it's a break for your heart because it doesn't have to pump the fluids down against gravity. The thing is that there's one counterindication for somebody with unmanaged high blood pressure. So that means it's not managed with medication. If you have high blood pressure and medications are not able to keep it in check, then you want to make sure you do not elevate. The other contraindication, I said one, well, that was the medical one, but there's also headaches. If you are in an active headache state, you don't want to increase the flow of blood to your head. So those are the two counterindications. You decide what's appropriate for you. You could have a blanket underneath your head and under your tushy, or you could be using the block. It is also good to put the blanket down a little bit so that it's not too high, because you want to kind of maintain a downward slope in your body. You don't want your tushy up and you're going down and then there's an elevation of your head, because that would put too much pressure on the neck. So if you are going to use a blanket, use the least amount of blanket possible. And then we'll bring ourselves down onto the ground for our inversion. It could be called a supported bridge posture, a supported back bend, a supported spinal extension. All those are different names for this. You're going to bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. And then arrange yourself when you're here. So feel your way into what feels appropriate. Your body will be the guide. Let yourself arrive here. Let the blood pressure arrive here. Let the fluids settle. And then reaching for a block or a blanket or whatever it is you're going to use, you would walk your feet closer to your body, lift your heels up, lift your pelvis up, and then we're going to place our pelvis onto the block. And you could actually do this in a nice corrective position to really deeply stretch the connective tissue of the pelvis, so the ligaments, the muscles. You could push your feet into the floor. Let the top of the pelvis touch the block. And then rock towards the tailbone. Let the sacrum be resting on the block. Feel the support. And then I like to arrange my upper body. I like to draw my ribs away from my pelvis. So I'm really stretching the midsection here. And I feel a pretty deep stretch, mostly on one side of my pelvis because of my hip replacement. So I mostly feel it one place. And then you want to make sure your chest is not collapsing. So if you press your elbows into the ground, you could lift your rib cage up and slide the shoulder blades towards the center, towards the spine, because they will actually help arrange your spine or your rib cage so that you don't collapse your spine. Really supportive. Your arms could go down alongside your body, or your hands could go on your belly. Try to let your feet be only body distance. And if you did do these extra things, you may feel some stretching. So notice what you're noticing here. Lift your head up and lengthen your neck. Keep your mouth closed, breathe in and out through your nose. Let your awareness go to your torso, noticing what moves. Where's the breath? Is it in the upper chest? Do you feel it more on the right side or the left side? Is your lower ribs, or are your lower ribs moving? Is your belly moving? So try to be a witness at first to notice where you're breathing. See if you could determine what is your set point for your breath. Bring the breath down to the lower ribs. And see if you could feel the lower ribs expand, the front, the sides, and the back of the lower ribs. Imagine you have an inner tube around your body, right at your lower ribs, with this 1-inch space all the way around. As you breathe, you expand up to the sides and back. Let your mind be there. Feel that expansion, a circular pattern growing and getting bigger as you inhale. And then expand upon this. Breathe so big to the lower ribs that you feel the downward movement. You feel the pressure building in the abdominal area as you breathe down to your pelvic floor. And feel how that's different. You either are thinking of your diaphragm and expanding at the lower ribs. And then when you think of breathing down towards the pelvic floor, towards the tailbone, towards the sacrum, the pressure you feel in the block or the blanket, whatever your pelvis is on. Feel that pressure created in your lower pelvic area. Modify according to any issues that may exist there for you, or any recent surgeries, or anything that is being managed at the time. Breathing in and out through the nose. Keep the mouth closed. So the whole area from the lower ribs to where the legs attach to your body. Breathe there. Finishing the breath you're on, take 3 more deep breaths to the lower belly. For these next few breaths, see if you could breathe to the lower left side of your body, all the way down to where the left leg attaches to your body. Let your mind go there. Think of the left lower rib and the top, the side, and the back, breathing down towards your pelvic floor, towards your left buttock, towards where the leg attaches to your body. Let your awareness be a part of this. See if you could feel that you're using the left diaphragm. Let's do the other side, the right side. Bring your mind to the right lower body, the right buttock, the right upper rib, side rib, and lower rib of the lower part of your ribs, the top, the side, and the bottom. Breathing all the way to where the right leg attaches to your body. Feel the breath moving and creating the pressure on the right side.
And then breathe to the whole lower body. Equalize the tension in the lower abdominal area. Breathing to the upper lower ribs, the side, and the back of the lower ribs. Breathing down to where your legs attach to your body, feeling that pressure created with breath. And then pay attention to, as you breathe down, creating an intra-abdominal pressure down below, can you feel the rebound and the lift that comes into the spine, right where the lower ribs are, right by the belly button? You breathe down to feel the pressure, your mind goes down, and then bring your mind to the middle of your torso. Feel the lifting action of the spine. One more breath. Give the breath back to your body. Let's bring your hands onto your hip bones. The hip bones right on the top, the front of the pelvis. These are pelvic bones, the front of your pelvis. Let your fingertips be near your thighs, maybe touching, and let the heel of your hand press one pelvic bone at a time towards the block, and then the other. Noticing what you notice at the back of your body. Stretching some of the ligaments in the pelvis, some of the muscles, rocking your pelvis side to side. Part of the walking gait is for the pelvis to shift forward and backwards. So stretching some of the muscles. You may feel this right where your body is on the block, the SI joint. So make sure it feels appropriate for you. Going a little harder with your pressure if that's appropriate. Coming maybe to the top part of the hip bone. You may have a little more access. It also may help to add a little bit of a posterior tilt. May feel a little better. The top part of the SI joint for some is still movable. It's a synovial joint. It may fuse for some around age 50, and it may remain mobile for some. I've seen opposing views on this and spoken with a couple of chiropractors and physical therapists with opposing views. So pay attention to what's happening in your body, doing what feels appropriate. And then bring your hands to press equally so that you're pressing your hips back. Press on the lower hip bone at first, see how that feels. Then slide your palms to the edges, the top edges of your hip bones, pressing down to the top edges of your hip bones towards the block. And then release. Let's walk the feet back towards each other. Walk the feet in towards each other. Draw one knee up. Notice the relief that comes into the sacrum, that whole sacral area at the back of the pelvis. Contract your core. Lift the other knee up if it's appropriate. See how that feels. You can let your arms go out to the side, like straight out to the side, so you're making the shape of a letter T. And you could bend your elbows if your elbows bend. That'll also help to support the upper chest. If you'd like to unbend your legs, bringing your legs straight up towards the sky, you could try that. These are all suggestions. See what's appropriate for you. If your legs are straight, inhale to stretch the feet. Exhale to flex. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, flex. Inhale and exhale. Start to do circles with the feet. Slow, go really slow. Slower is better. Imagine your feet are in a vat of honey, sticky honey. You have to move through that honey, stretching your ankles. Maybe you hear cracking, popping, one direction and then in the other. If you'd like, you could take your legs open and together. Try to do it with closed eyes so your body lets you know what's a safe range of motion. You'll feel where you should go. Opening and closing adductors, letting the hip joint settle, low back settle. Bring your legs back to neutral. Let the right leg go down to the ground. Exhale, bring back up. Inhale, let the left leg go down. Leg is straight or leg is bent. It's up to you. Exhale, firm up your core to come back up. Inhale to lower. Exhale, contract and come back up. Bent knee is a little easier. It's a lot of work for the core and the hip flexors if your legs are straight. So do what's appropriate for you. You inhale to lower. You exhale to contract, protect your back, protect your core. One more each direction. Then bring yourself back to center. Bend your knees, put your feet onto the ground. Slide the right leg slowly away from you. Inhale. You're lengthening your hip flexors. Make sure when you get there it feels appropriate. Couple breaths here. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, you could actually draw the left knee in. You could hold on to the shin or behind the hamstring. Push your heart up towards the sky. Don't let your chest collapse. So any variations of these, elevating the pelvis, stretching the hip flexors beyond their range of motion, working to loosen, to stretch the pelvis, to allow for greater range of motion, more mobility in the hip joint. And then to come out of this posture, you're going to bend the right leg, put both feet down onto the ground. Pause between. And on your next inhale, lengthen the left leg long. If you'd like to bend the right knee, you draw the right knee in, holding onto the shin or the hamstrings. Press your heart up towards the sky. Don't let your chest collapse. Stretching the left hip flexor area. One of them is a quadricep. One of the muscles you're stretching is a psoas, the end of the psoas, the tendinous part of the psoas, which also attaches to the low back. So giving a little freedom in this part of your body so that you can release tension in the lower back. So for low back health, hip joint health, breathe through your belly. One more breath. Bending both knees. Bring both knees onto the ground. Let the knees fall in towards each other. Hands on the belly. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Chest up towards the sky. Take a couple of breaths here to settle. Let's explore a full body stretch if that's available to you. Arms go overhead and one leg at a time goes straight, stretching your hips. Push your heart up towards the sky to protect your low back. Push your belly button or contract your core to protect your low back. Feel the stretch in your body. Try to draw the lower ribs away from the pelvis. Take one more breath. Bringing yourself back to neutral. Hands on the belly, eyes are closed. Couple of breaths here. Bringing ourselves out of this supported inversion. You're going to bring your feet closer. Push your feet slowly into the ground. Feel the tension from the sacrum and the low back release as you slowly push to lift up and away. Take the block off to the side. Tilt your pelvis backwards. So you're trying to push your low back towards the ground before it gets there, and try to get the lower back to touch the floor. Go slow here. Bring yourself all the way down into the ground. Let your feet be a little away from your body, wider than your body, knees falling in towards each other. Arms can go to the side or the hands can be on the belly, you decide. Couple of breaths and observe what you're observing. Notice how you're feeling. What is the level of energy? And what's the quality of that energy? Sleepy or relaxed? And then gently blink your eyes open. Draw your knees towards each other. Draw one knee slowly in at a time. Notice the movement of the leg, of the low back pressing into the ground when you draw the knee in. And then before you lift the other foot off, notice how the belly has to actually activate here to support you. Draw the other knee in. Draw the knees in deeply. Rocking side to side. Rock across the top edge of your pelvis. And then bring yourself into a happy baby. Soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Legs are spread wide. And you hold on to the back of the thighs. Draw the knees closer to your armpits. If you're able to take your 2 fingers and put it between big toe and second toe, because it's already there and it's still wide, try that. Don't put the feet together. It's easy to hold our feet if they're together. We don't want that. We want wide. This is going to help to settle the low back, stretch the low back, stretch the glutes, help to release tension from the low back area. So maybe you can hold on to your toes, or maybe you're holding on here. One is not better than the other, but one is better than the other for your body. So choose the one that's the best for your body. And then bring your feet onto the floor, hands on the belly. So hopefully you feel pretty good after that. Or you may even feel the tension from all the stretching you're doing. So always noticing what's appropriate for you. So let's take the arms to the side and walk your feet as wide as your mat. Feel the sacrum, the center of the pelvic area on the ground, and keep the soles of the feet on the ground as you start to gently move the knees back and forth, side to side. Warming up the hip joint, moving the leg in the socket. You're going to rock side to side on your pelvis. So maybe a little tension release for the sacroiliac area where the base of the spine is embedded in your pelvis. And then the muscles that mobilize and stabilize the trunk, the low back, the hips, pelvis. Then start to go a little bigger so that the soles actually roll off the floor. Try to keep the rib cage on the ground. Close your eyes, be in your pelvis. Feel your weight going from side to side in your buttocks. And try not to let the low back fly off the floor, because that's going to go into low back and it might cause some strain. So be very cognizant here that you're actually moving the hip joint. You want most of the movement to be right there at the level of the hips. And there is a little rotation happening if the edge of the pelvis starts to lift off the ground. So notice that, because for those with low back issues, that's one of the major movements that contributes to low back discomfort, is that rotation that comes into the body, and the lumbar spine has to manage that, and the joints don't exist for that movement, so it becomes all muscular. Lumbar spine doesn't have rotational joints, so then you're going to be pulling on the muscles. So pay attention, get to know your body so you can move safely and happily. Bring yourself back to center. Let's go bigger with this movement. Take your feet off the mat. Kneecaps are pointing up towards the sky. Exhale. Inhale, let your legs go to the left. Exhale, contract your core to bring your legs back up to center. Inhale, let your legs go to the right. Exhale, contract your core back to center. Inhale, left, go slow. Exhale to come back up. As your legs move to the side, push them away from you at the same time, so you're as long as you could be in your torso. You'll feel a deepening stretch, hopefully in the front of the body. And if you'd like, as you exhale and contract your core to bring your legs back up, press your low back into the ground. That'll tilt the pelvis backwards and protect the low back. Close your eyes, move in an appropriate manner for your body. The next time that your legs come over to the left, stay there. Let the legs go to the left, let your head go to the right. And then take the right arm, bend the right wrist, let the right fingernail stay on the ground. Bend the right wrist, reach through the right heel of the hand, lengthen the right arm, and lengthen the whole right side of your body. Breathe to the right side of your body. And then on the next exhale, release, come back up to a neutral position, letting the knees go over to the right, let them arrive there. Keep the left fingertips on the ground, flex the left wrist. Left fingernails on the ground, left wrist is flexed. Reach through the heel of the hand and stretch the left side, breathe to the left side. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Walk your feet closer together. Walk your knees into the chest and rock side to side. Put your feet on the ground. Bring your hands onto your belly. And realign. Reconnect. Bring your awareness to your head and neck. Inhale. Exhale, let your head slowly go in one direction. When you finish the exhale, inhale back up to center. Exhale the other direction. Inhale back up. . Exhale into the movement, inhale back up. Bringing yourself back to center. Let's move on. So get your block, your blanket. You fold your blanket. We're going to do a little bit of core work here. So have your blanket folded either in the regular fold, or you could even double this. Because whenever we lift our upper body off, whenever we work with the pelvis and work with the core, sometimes that elevation of the head can be a little supportive, especially if you have low back issues or if you have tightness or any weakness in the core, but especially tightness in the body. If you sit a lot, you have low back issues. I find that elevation kind of gives you a little bit of a break or a little safety place to come up from. Let's take the block between the legs. You use the squeezing muscles. So as you squeeze the block, feel that. And then make sure that your feet are the distance of the block. The toes are pointing forward. I want you to bring your awareness to the pinky toe edges of your feet. We're going to bring the movement kind of like a corkscrew action from the base of the body all the way up when you do this center midline action. This will be really wonderful for future warding off future pain and discomfort, for keeping you in nice alignment and stable, joints nice and aligned. So you're going to roll your feet towards the pinky toe edges and then squeeze the block with the knees. And as you squeeze with the knees, start to squeeze with the inner thighs up towards your pelvis, and then tilt the pelvis back so the low back presses into the ground. And then bring yourself out. Closer the feet are together might be a little easier if you bring the toes together. So you begin by pushing the outer edges of the feet, maybe back by the heel area. So you push out towards the feet, and then you squeeze the block together, starting to squeeze the knees, the inner thighs, up to the pelvic floor, tilting the low back into the ground, and then release on the inhale. Exhale, start at the feet, the knees, the inner thighs, the pelvis, the core. Inhale to release. Take your hands behind your head, clasp your hands behind your head, elbows are out to the side. Inhale, and as you exhale, start pressing the feet into the floor, squeezing the block, flattening the low back. Inhale, release. One more like this. Exhale, activate from your feet up to your core, and then release. On this next one, begin, exhale the feet, start to bring the upper body off the floor as you activate that whole center midline. Inhale to lower. Exhale, activate and lift. Inhale to lower. Continue with a couple of these, establishing that nice center midline contraction, core support. One more. When you come up, stay up. And then bring yourself all the way down. So we're going to try to do this side to side. This is important because we do have two sides of the body, And we have 2 sets of muscles on each side of the body. And often what can happen is dysfunction can come into the body. And what I notice too is that, if you're right-handed, maybe you're stronger on one side, or this is the more dominant side. So let's see if we could do this, activating our feet from the floor up and adding a little rotation to one side, really focusing on one side at a time. So bring your feet together, let the big toes touch, but the heels do not. You start the action from the outer pinky toe edge and the heel. We're going to start at one side there. We're going to push that knee into the block, activating that. And that's the side that's going to lift off and rotate over, activating that whole side of the body. And see how that goes. Actually, we're going to change that. We're going to activate the lower body, and that's the side of the body that's going to press towards the ground, and we're going to be lifting the other side up. So we need one side to be totally stabilizing while we lift the other side off the ground and rotate. So really getting this stabilizing aspect. Left side stabilizers, right side stabilizers. Bring your hands behind your head. Big toes are touching, heels are not. Take an inhale. As you exhale, press the left pinky toe edge of the foot into the floor. Start to push the left knee into the block. Push the right elbow into the block. Oops, sorry, that was wrong. Come back down. Come back down. It's the right side because I was lifting the left. Okay. So let's begin. The hands are behind your head, elbows are out to the side. Let's take an inhale. As you exhale, right pinky toe edge, press the right knee into the block, press the right elbow into the block, right lobe back into the block into the floor. As you inhale to lift your left elbow over towards the right side, inhale to lower. Let's do that again. Exhale, right pinky toe edge, right knee, right low back, right elbow, lift left arm off. Inhale to lower. Exhale, try to isolate the right side, press into the block with the right knee, flatten the right low back, lift the left arm up and over. 2 more like this. When you come up, stay up. Stay here, little pulses. Really push that right knee into the block, right low back towards the ground, right arm into the ground, left elbow pulsing. And then lower down. Take a break. Inhale. Sorry. Let's go to the other side. Inhale. As you exhale, left foot, pinky toe edge, left knee presses into the block, left low back presses towards the ground, left elbow presses into the ground. Lift your body up, right elbow across the body, right elbow towards the left knee. Inhale to lower. Feel that left side activate. Exhale, left pinky toe edge, left knee, left low back, left arm, right side lifts up and over. Continue with the left side activation. You could think of your arch lifting up, your knee pushing in, the left low back touching, the left arm touching, or press that pinky toe edge. Whatever gives you that activation from the base of your body. On the next one, you're going to come up and stay up. Little pulses if you'd like. Left arch is active. Left knee pressing into the block, left low back pressing into the ground, left arm in the ground, right arm reaching up and over. And then slowly bringing yourself down, take the block off to the side, draw your knees into your chest, bring your awareness to your inner thighs, and wherever else you may be experiencing this. Bring your feet back down onto the ground, hands on the belly, couple of breaths here. Notice in your body where you're feeling things. Notice if you're feeling symmetry. Do you feel equal on both sides, or did one side feel different than the other? Noticing what you're noticing. And blink your eyes open. So I'd like to share what I'm feeling because of my hip replacement and the non-communicative part of my body, because fake parts don't communicate like organic parts. Lots of inner thigh action on the hip replacement side, which is where I noticed a lot of my issues over the years of managing my issues until finally having that hip replacement. And even now, managing whatever my body has to manage. So whenever you practice noticing what's appropriate for you, notice what's beneficial so that you could come back to something and do it over and over. And even if it is that you do one side, we don't always have to do both sides. If you have asymmetry and you're able to notice that in yourself, then focus on the side that needs the attention the most. So let's move into the spine. We're going to take the strap. So you're going to loop your strap. So looping the strap is preferred. If not, if you can't loop the strap, that's okay. I want to show you what we're going to do before we do it so that you'll have an understanding. And you could do this with holding. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into bridge. And when we come into the bridge, we're going to put our hands into the block, into the strap, the hands in the strap so that we can push against it. And that's going to help to give you more of a lift and more of a back bend in the upper spine. So that's what we're going for here. It's also a lot of stretch. When you do come up into the bridge posture, make sure you don't look side to side when you have that much weight in your head. So that's what we're going to be doing. So in order to do this, you need to move your blanket away. You need to have a loop in your strap. And of course, if you only have a strap or something to grab onto, that'll be effective as well. So let's have the strap down alongside your body. Rock side to side so that you bring the shoulder blades closer to the spine. Lift your pelvis off, tilt your pelvis backwards, and pull your pelvis away from your rib cage to have as much length in your torso as possible. Lift your head up, tuck your chin towards your chest, nice long neck. Walk your feet as close as you can get them to your body. Push your feet into the floor. Let the low back touch the floor, so tilt your pelvis backwards. Exhale. As you inhale, start to peel your spine away from the ground. Reach underneath, put your hands in the loop. Pushing into the loop, walk your shoulder blades closer together so you have this pad at the top of your body for your body weight to come to, so it doesn't go into the head and the neck. And lengthen the back of the neck. Then you're going to push your feet into the floor, squeeze your tushy, exhale. And now inhale, lengthen. The knees move away from you. You push into the strap and you push your hands down into the ground to come up into a full back bend. And then exhale to slowly come out a little. So let's introduce this into the body. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to lower. Keep your eyes closed. Feel this. Inhale, lengthen. Are both sides working equally? On your next one, you're going to push away from the ground, come up. Come all the way up to the height that you could come up to. Push out on the strap like crazy. That'll activate the shoulder stabilizing muscles and help to get you a little more lift, a little more back bend in that upper spine. Push your feet into the floor, your arms into the floor, the knees away from you. The weight is not in your head and neck. It's in the upper back. Push out like crazy. Turning on the shoulder support for the upper back. Take one more breath. You're going to slowly bring yourself down one vertebra at a time. Bring the blanket back underneath your head for a second and draw the knees into your chest. Either knees into the chest or the happy baby to release tension, to stretch the low back, stretch the glutes. And bring your feet back onto the ground, hands on the belly. So to move on, we're going to use the strap again. We're going to do another bridge, this time focusing on the pelvic stability of a back bend. So you want your strap to be about hip distance, which might be a little more narrow than what it is if you use it for your shoulders. You're going to draw your knees up, put your feet through the strap, bring the strap to the top part of your thighs. Then put your feet onto the ground. So when we have the strap here, we do get a little higher with our bridge. So noticing that, putting the strap, you want to only be body distance or hip distance. So don't be too wide here. We're going to move the blanket away from the back of the head, rocking side to slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Arms can be down alongside the body or elbows are bent. Whatever you do, don't look side to side when you bring your body up. So you're going to pick your head up, lengthen the back of the head, or lengthen your neck. Walking your feet close to your body if you'd like, or keep them a little farther away. Farther away, you won't lift as high. So you just decide what's appropriate for you. Close your eyes, let's feel this. Tilt your pelvis backwards, squeeze the belly towards the spine, squeeze the tushy, push out strongly into the strap. Exhale. As you inhale, peel your spine up and away slowly. Feel your spine leaving the ground, one vertebra at a time. Exhale to lower. Is it even? Inhale to rise. Do you lift off evenly? Do you feel the same in the left and the right? On the next one, you're going to come up and stay for 5 breaths. Of course, if you want to keep moving, keep moving. If you're able to stay for 5, stay for 5, or stay less if that's what you need. Deep breaths. Push out on the strap a lot. Feel like it comes from the arches of your feet. Pinky toe edges press into the ground. When you finish your last breath, come down really slow. Bring the blanket under your head. Take your strap off. Knees into the chest, side to side. Feet on the ground, hands on the belly. Bring your knees into your chest. Coming onto your side. Take your hand on the floor. Use your hand and your elbow to push away from the ground to bring yourself up. Noticing how you feel. Let's take the blanket onto the ground. Let's get the strap. So get your strap, and you want to make your loop not too big. So you want it to be that when you put your hands in it and you bring your hands forward, your hands are not wider than the outside of your shoulders. We're going to use this for our plank. So it's nice to use it. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to use this for plank. We're going to keep it on the lower arm, the forearm in plank. For those of you that need to come down into forearm plank, if you were going to do forearm plank, and maybe actually I could show that too if we have time. So you're going to bring it here if you're coming into regular plank. And if you cannot do regular plank, up here in the forearm plank is where you do it if you come down to the ground with forearm plank. So let's bring the strap onto the hand, coming to the side. Any variation you're doing, even if it's the modification, roll your hands so that the pointer fingers are forward. And make sure you have enough tension. So bring the strap to where you feel that you actually have tension when you push into it. And it's not wider than your shoulder girdle. Coming onto all fours. Let's come into plank. Take one foot back first, stretch the calf, make sure your body's going to be okay receiving this. And then the other. Push out in the strap. Keep that back foot back. And then contract your core, lift your foot off the floor. Push away from the ground, push out on the strap. Maybe this makes it a little easier for you. Push your feet back through your heels, push out on that strap. Push your belly button towards your spine, protect your low back. If you want to lift one leg at a time off the floor, you can lift one leg off. Push out on the strap a lot. And then try the other. This is strong hips. To lift a leg off, you need that leg that you're balancing on. There's a lot of anterior or front hip strength. You may feel a little burning in your upper arms and your shoulders. Pushing out on that strap. And then bring yourself out. Bring yourself to rest, whatever that means for you, on your heels if your body will let you, if your knees will let you. Close your eyes, catch your breath. Breathe down to the lower ribs and then down to the pelvis. Feel it expand.
Bring your awareness to the arches. Breathe to your arches. Breathe down the right side of your body to your right arch. Left side of your body to your left arch. And then blink your eyes open. So let's do a few more things with the strap. So now you need the long strap. So depending on, you might need to unloop it if you have a 6-foot strap, which is what the average strap is. So we're gonna be in a seated position. Maybe you need to be kneeling, or you're able to put a block to sit on like this in a supported hero's pose. So if you're able to put the block between your ankles, this is a really nice way to do this. You're gonna take your arms long, so you're pulling out on the strap. You're gonna bring the strap up and back, stretching your chest, stretching your shoulders, pulling out. So there's tension in the strap. Try not to bend your elbows as you come up and back. This is shoulder joint, so make sure that it's appropriate for you. If you have shoulder issues, pay attention to, does this feel appropriate? Is it too much of a stretch? And then bring yourself down. Bring yourself back up to the back, like you're holding a sheet in the wind and it's filled like a sail on a boat. Reach up. So really lift your heart here, feel that stretch. Then bring yourself back to neutral, side to side. Play with this to see what feels appropriate. Maybe having your strap behind your head, bending an elbow if need be. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring the strap up, take the strap off. Bring your awareness up to your neck, these 7 bones here. Chin is parallel, push your head back on top of your spine. Exhale. Inhale to look over one side. Keep the rest of your body quiet, not moving. Come back to center. Inhale, other side. Back to center. Inhale, back to center. Bring yourself back to center. The very tip of your ear is going to push straight up towards the sky. Exhale, and then inhale, ear up towards the sky, and back. Ear up towards the sky. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Shoulder blades are sliding towards each other. Bring yourself back to center. Teeth are together. Inhale. Exhale, chin to chest. And chin up. Chin to chest. And up. Feel that stretch in the upper back. Bring yourself back to center. Shake everything. So we're gonna go down onto the ground for Shavasana, letting everything settle. So time for Shavasana, you choose what is the most appropriate for you. coming down, doing any last minute, anything you need to do, wiggle, 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 do whatever you want to do, and then come into integration, letting everything that was just practiced today to sink into your cells, into your tissues, into your muscles, your ligaments, your tendons, your bones, and into your soul, becoming a new memory, a new pattern. Stay connected to your breath, breathe in and out through the nose. Gently begin to deepen your breath. And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, noticing how your body feels. Bending your knees one at a time. Drawing the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. Bringing your awareness onto your side. Hand is on the floor, elbows on the ground. You're going to push away to bring yourself up. We want to close the practice. We want to seal the deal letting all that was new in your body that was created sink into your cells, into your memory. So you bring your hands together, rubbing your hands together, letting the hands go to the heart to the hands. Push the chest towards the thumbs and the thumbs towards the chest. We'll use a humming sound to allow a vibration to settle, to allow that integration to settle. Take a big exhale. Inhale. We bow in gratitude for the practice, for the wisdom, for the opportunity of self-care. Namaste. This practice was very skeletal. It was very intentional. It was inside, deep inside, in the joints, loosening, softening, strengthening, activating, releasing. And that can be so therapeutic for healthy aging, for reducing the stress that's inside the body as the body tries to hold and stabilize you. And so the more aware you become, the more in tune you are with right side, left side, equal, even, not even, whatever you notice in your body, then you can take care of yourself and keep yourself balanced and equal. And that's how we're going to stay healthy and happy in our joints, in our bones, in our muscles, in our body. And we know that if we're happy in all those things, then we'll be happy in our mind. All right. I think that was a great way to end this session. I think I'm going to feel it, actually. Nancy, that is a really good practice for you. I know there's some things you may or may not be able to do. And then Dave, I was wondering what you were thinking. I think in the beginning, I wonder if Dave likes this for his feet. So anyway, I hope that you're all feeling good. I felt it a lot in my inner thigh when we were doing the rotation and activating and stabilizing one side. Definitely something I'm going to do more often. Carolyn, great. Good. Nice to hear that. Okay. All right, Michael. Yeah, this will be good for surfing. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm off next week. So well, hopefully not off. I mean, you always have to move your body. So, okay, good, Lynn. All right, that's what we need. You want him to feel great. We want to feel great for the rest of our lives. Why would we not do this all the time? We do not want to be in pain and achy and not be able to move. We have to take care of ourselves. So don't take next week off. There's plenty of recorded videos. Do something every day and practice yoga all day, every day, I say. Thanks. I will. I'll be working, but a different kind of work. Okay, feet especially. Good. All right, everyone. Great Saturday. See you later. Bye.